Coming at you live, we are cooking in Kevin's kitchen. What do you have in store for us today?
We got a good one now. We got food court bourbon chicken. And it is going to be yummy, and it's pretty much just like they do. A couple of little different varieties you can do. We're going to do the adult version, which is going to be using real whiskey. I like to use my good old Texas Crown anytime I'm cooking. When I make my deer steak or anything like that, I like to use Texas Crown. It's similar to Crown. Of course, it's not quite as good, but I like it to cook with. Or, if you don't want to do that, you can use apple juice. It's the same thing. So, I like to go over my ingredients real quick, and we'll go from there. So, there's a lot of dry spices and a lot of wet spices, and then there you go. So, first we're going to start with our olive oil. You need a tablespoon of olive oil. This batch I'm doing today, I'm going to triple it. So, I'm making 6 pounds instead of 2 pounds. I'm going to kind of run through both as we go, so try not to get confused. But anyway, I'm going to go over the ingredients as it was for a one batch recipe instead of a 3 batch. So anyway, you're going to need a tablespoon of olive oil. You're going to need 2 pounds of chicken thighs. Okay, I use chicken thighs, chicken breast, whatever happens to be on sale that week. And this week we had chicken breast super on sale, so I went ahead and bought those fresh chicken breasts. But usually you want to use boneless, skinless thighs. It's really whatever you want to use. But they use boneless, skinless thighs if you want to know what's up with that. Okay, then you're going to need a third of a cup of either whiskey or your apple juice. It doesn't matter which one you use. They're both going to cook down regardless. You're going to need a third of a cup of dark brown sugar. 1/3 cup. You're going to need a half a cup of water. You're going to need a 1/3 cup of soy sauce. We use Cookin'in, use whatever kind you like. We're almost out. Okay. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. Try to use rice vinegar if you have it. If you don't have it, you can use regular white vinegar. It's no problem. As long as it's you can use white wine vinegar. As long as it's a white, clear vinegar is what you want to use in this recipe. But preferably rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon. A 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper. And you can either use 3 or 4 turns on your pepper mill, but I like to use this chunky ground pepper, so we're going to use that today. A 1/4 teaspoon. You're going to use 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. 1 teaspoon of ground ginger.
All right.
Then we're going to use a half a teaspoon of granulated garlic. And then we're going to use 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. We're going to mix it in 3 tablespoons of water. And what this is a thickening agent at the end. Okay? So I have mine all prepared like it was going to be a 3 batch. So from now on, when I talk, I'm going to talk in like 3 batches because that's kind of what I'm doing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up our olive oil and we're going to cook our chicken. Now, how do we cook our chicken? We cook it. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes because what we want to do is cook it until all the moisture is out of it. It gets all that water in there and stuff. We want to cook all that out. You don't want to pour it off. You just want to cook it out. And then it's going to start browning the chicken. Okay, when it starts browning the chicken is when we add our mixture that we're going to get into right now. So the first thing we do is brown the chicken. We're going to get in that in just a second. We got to support our boys. I don't think we did that in the last video. Let's go we did this time. All right, I already have my brown sugar in my pan, in my bowl, I mean. I want you a good little whisk to whisk it up. And I'm going to go ahead and do all my dry spices first. I'm going to put in the garlic powder. I'm going to put in the ginger. I'm going to put in the pepper. And then I'm kind of gonna whisk this all together real quick. Just like that. Just get it all kind of incorporated there. Okay, then we're going to add our soy sauce, which in this case is a cup. Our water. I'm going to go ahead and rinse that out. You may as well get all that soy sauce out of there. And then go on and add our water. Get that to going. Dissolving. Smelling good already. Okay.
So good.
And then now, what do we add? Woo! Listen. If I can get it out. Oh, Lord. It's supposed to pop, and it did, but I hit the table. Here we go. We need a cup of whiskey. We're going to do whiskey today instead of apple juice. We use apple juice a lot of times, but I actually had whiskey So I'm gonna use whiskey the way it's supposed to be done. Okay, right there. We just whisk that together, and all we do now is set this aside until we're ready for it. So what we're gonna do now is go and we're gonna start our chicken. We're gonna heat the oil. We're gonna cook the chicken 10 or 15 minutes. We're gonna get all the liquid out of the chicken, and when that gets to that point, we'll be right back. So I'm gonna go on and get to the stove and get my chicken cooking. Get you some. Okay, I was flying through my recipe. I didn't even realize I didn't put my vinegar in. So we got to get the vinegar in there. Please don't forget the vinegar now. That's a very important part of this recipe. And I didn't even realize until I was starting to clean up. So anyway, just to let you know, it's real cooking live in Kevin's kitchen, and that stuff happens. So anyway, we got all our ingredients. We got it incorporated, and we are now putting our chicken on. We'll be back in a few.
Back at you live, cooking in Kevin's kitchen.
All right, we're browning our chicken. We got our olive oil and our chicken in here. And we're just going to brown it up. Like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to cook all the liquid out of this. It's going to release all that water and stuff. And then it's going to start cooking that chicken. And then when all that water's absorbed, it takes a good 10, 12 minutes. Then we'll be back and we'll show you the next step. Alright, I just wanted to show y'all all the liquid that's forming in the bottom of the pan. Might as well show you everything. And so what we're going to do, like I said, we're just going to keep boiling this and cooking it until all that moisture has evaporated out of there. And when that happens is when we're going to add our whiskey sauce, basically, or a whiskey mixture to put in this. Now, the chicken has been put in here with the olive oil. They've been cut in about 1-inch cubes. You can see that, about 1 inch. And we're just going to cook this liquid out of here, and we'll be right back. All right, as you can see, look, we got all the moisture out of there, and now we're actually frying the chicken again. What we want to do is cook it about 1 to 2 more minutes while we're stirring, so we can get that brown stuff going, and kind of brown that chicken just a little bit. You don't want it too brown, just a little bit. You can already see how much it's browning up. So we're going to brown it up. Let's just go ahead and do this real quick. We're about ready. All the liquid's gone, as you can tell. Brown that chicken a little bit. Now, what we're going to do is do one last whisk of the sauce and just pour it all in there. All at once. Get it all in there. Now, we're going to cook this for 12 to 15 minutes, and the reason being is because we want to cook the alcohol out of it. And it takes a good 10 minutes or so to get that alcohol out of there. So we're going to bring it back to a boil, and we're going to cook it for another at least 12 minutes, and then we're going to add our thickening agent, which is cornstarch and water. So as soon as this gets to that point, we'll be right back. All right, we are 12 minutes in. Look how yummy it looks. Look how dark that chicken is. But you can see it's still kind of runny, right? So this is where our thickening agent comes in. You're going to mix 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 3 tablespoons of water. In my case, I'm doing 3 because I'm doing 3 batches. Give it one last stir. I like to mix this up ahead of time. That way it sits there for a long time. Make sure it all melts. No chunks. Like your gravy, you don't want no chunks. So we're going to put that in. And it doesn't take long. You'll see it's quite impressive on how quick it thickens up. Got to bring it back to a boil. It's got to boil in order for that stuff to work. It's best. You can already see it's working.
It smells so good.
Turn it up. And then I didn't mention, you want to go ahead and do you some white rice. I got 2 cups of white rice. I use a little rice cooker I have. The one thing I can tell you about cooking white rice now is if you want to make a good white sticky rice like you know, the Asian rice, you do not want to rinse your rice. All the bags and everything says rinse your rice. No, you don't want to rinse your rice. If you want that good sticky white rice, you don't want to rinse it. Okay, as you can tell right here, we're going to turn it off. Wow. We're done. Look how quick that thickened up. We don't want to overdo it now because it will start to burn. So we're going to go ahead and get it off our burner there. We got our rice ready. I made a nice little fruit salad to go with this tonight. And cook your rice however you want. You can usually do a machine or just use 1 cup of rice to 3 cups of water. Boil it for almost about 30 minutes, and then you got perfect white rice. Do not rinse it. Okay, y'all. Food court bourbon chicken. Get you some.